Welcome back to RON TV. I'm Ronn McCarrick. I'm your host. I'd like to take a few minutes today to talk to you about NaNoWriMo. I put up a post the other day, just one of those little picture posts that I do, and my wife was all like, "What the hell is this?" This picture of me kind of freaking out because NaNoWriMo was less than a month away. She says, "What the hell is NaNoWriMo?" So I'd like to tell you what NaNoWriMo is, explain it a little bit to you, what it is, what it's all about, why I do it, why you might want to consider it, and some of my successes and failures with it. NaNoWriMo is short for National Novel Writing Month. Something started in 1999 by a fellow by the name of Chris Beatty. He actually started in July, but pretty quickly realized that July is a terrible month for novel writing because it's beautiful. So, moved it to November, where it's generally kind of cold, kind of wet, kind of miserable, perfect writing weather. Now, back in 1999, there were probably only 25 people that actually participated in this. And while I was writing, I had no idea this thing even existed. I learned about it when I worked for MCI WorldCom at their Network Operations Center, where I worked with a lot of folks who were geeks, nerds, computer folks, like-minded fellows that were interested in this kind of fringe sort of stuff. So it was actually probably 2002 when I first started, or at least, if we're being honest, I think we should be honest here, I don't remember if I tried it before 2002. I might have done it in 2000, maybe 2001, but I'm guessing that according to Wikipedia, there were only about 5,000 people that did it in 2001. Probably I wasn't one of them. Or maybe it was 2000. I don't know. Whatever. The first time I was successful at it was 2002. Now, what is it exactly? In the month of November, we, who are doing the NaNoWriMo, are attempting to write a 50,000 word novel. That's 1,667 words a day. That's a lot of writing. But 50,000 word novel, what does that mean? If you aren't a writer and you don't obsess about word counts, probably means nothing to you. 50,000 words is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, A Brave New World. 50,000 words, The Great Gatsby was a 50,000 word novel. So it's a small novel. A little bit longer than a novella, which is about 40,000 words on the top end, but 50,000 words is a short novel. But we're trying to write it in a month because it's National Novel Writing Month. November 1st through November 30th, sit down every day, write your 1,667 words, and at the end of that month, you have a novel. You're a writer, you're an author, you're published. What are you going to write about? Anything you want. Chris Beatty wrote a book. No plot, no problem. This is here to help you come up with stuff to write. Now, I've done this a lot of years. I'm not going to say this is a bad book. I'm not going to say it's a good book, because while I bought it, I've never actually taken the time to read it. Kind of goes for a lot of these books up on the shelf. So, we're not going to use that. I do National Novel Writing Month because I have been an aspiring writer for as long as I can remember. I think sixth grade I attempted my first novel and I didn't finish it. Big surprise there. Every year since discovering National Novel Writing Month, I've made an attempt at this. Some of these attempts have been more successful than others. Now, what constitutes a success, you say? A success is having written a 50,000 word novel. It doesn't get you a prize, there's not a trip to Jamaica, you don't get instantly published, you just get the satisfaction of having written a novel. And There are a lot of folks that write crap. I'm probably one of them. Most of mine is unfinished crap. Whatever. But there are people who write and manage to get their NaNoWriMo novel successfully published. A good example would be Water for Elephants. That was just a movie. It started out as a NaNoWriMo project. It's a big movie. Starred that Twilight guy. Yeah, big deal. Some other successes that have gone on to get published would be The Night Circus, Persistence of Memory, Fangirl, Anna and the French Kiss, and The Darwin Elevator. I had to look those all up on Wikipedia because my reading has gone down the tubes as badly as my writing. So I can't say that I've read any of those. In fact, I didn't even see the movie Water for Elephants, but I did see the previews for it, probably while seeing something else. Whatever. Now, it's fun and it's challenging, and personally, I get a great deal of satisfaction from the writing process. I feel like I'm accomplishing something, and what we're all trying to do is answer the question, and then what happened? And that's what we're trying to answer. National Novel Writing Month is kind of, once again, going to be my kickoff point. So let me tell you about my successes and my failures. I will share this with you, hoping that it will inspire you to not give up, to give it a try, to go for it. It's 1 month. In 2002, which again, I believe was the first time I did this, and if it wasn't the first time, it's definitely the first time I was successful. I wrote a story, or novel, because I finished it, a little over 50,000 words, 51,000, called A Difficult Dinner, which was basically a story about a guy whose wife got turned into a vampire, she killed his kids, and he became obsessed with killing vampires. There was more to it than that, but that's all we can really say. And I did it. 50,000 words, I got the winner's badge. The following year, in 2003, I tried a story that I was calling The Runesland Abduction, which was a fantasy kidnapping story about a swashbuckler, a sorceress, and a minotaur. Only managed to get about 8,600 words that year, so it kind of flopped. But part of that is just the fact that November is usually kind of crazy. We're closing in on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all that stuff. Family's starting to demand of your time. So I didn't succeed. I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't prepared. The following year, I went back to A Difficult Dinner. It was 50,000 words at the end of 2002, but in 2004, I wanted to flesh that out into what I would consider a full story. So I bumped that thing up to just shy of 120,000 words. I managed to get 61,000 words written that November, so I got another winner's badge, and A Difficult Dinner became a completed first draft for that novel. Now, I have not taken the time to edit it up and get it finished, but it's done. It's sitting there. I've got some distance since that was 10 years ago, so maybe I can go back and edit it and be very objective about my writing. Who knows? But that was my second and last success with this. But I didn't quit, and you shouldn't either. It's worth the effort. In 2005, I wrote a story that has had many titles. It was the Araya Dre story, it was Black Moon, it was the staff of something or other, it was this and that. In the end, it became the Book of Crimson Lilies, which was supposed to be the first part of I think it was going to be a 6-part series. I only got 13,800 words. I did not win. So that was another year where I tried, wasn't really prepared, spent more time doing notes and whatnot than actually writing. Ah, well. 2006, I did a story called Corleones, which was going to be about a guy transferred to another planet, another world, fantasy realm, where he became a hero. Only got about 6,100 words on that one. In 2007, I attempted to write a contemporary story, something set in this world called Sitting Duck. It was basically a story about a guy who wasn't... It was about... Sitting Duck is a story about some found money and the insanity that kind of circles around it. The fact that people are pretty much willing to murder for almost nothing. I thought it was a fine amount, $20,000, a couple of murders. A lot of people have said that's not enough to kill somebody, but I think in the context of the story it was. But even that, I only managed to get a little over 20,000 words. It was a good start, but by the middle of the month I had just been sidetracked and I was skipping more days in my writing schedule than I was actually writing. The following year I tried to write a story called Moloch, which was about a fallen angel. I didn't even get 400 words in that one. That story, I'm still to this day not sure I'm ready to write. It just feels like one of those stories that either hasn't developed enough in my mind or I just don't feel competent to get it on paper. In 2009, I did Crazy Deadly Cool, which was a private eye detective story, and I managed to get a little over 7,000 words, but another failure. You see where this is going? Just failure after failure. But nothing really compares to 2010, where I came up with the title, and if you look on the NaNoWriMo.org website, you will see it listed on my list, Guard Saber versus the evil Dr. Zorbo and the giant robots from space. It's going to be a pulp fiction, kind of sci-fi from the 50s sort of thing. Yeah, I got 0 words on that one. That one never even got off the launch pad. In 2011, I thought I had a story. I was going to write a superhero story. And I don't think I was as prepared as I thought I was. Initially, I was going to write a story based on a video game introductory scenario, Champions Online. But somewhere in the middle of that project, it started to become more like a superhero version of the Three Musketeers. I was calling it an unnecessary hero, based on the idea that it was taking place in a city that had so many heroes that one more really just didn't make that much of a difference. Got about 12,000 words done on that one before we petered out of it. 2012, I took one of my writing exercises that I was doing with my buddy Doug, tried to turn that into a story, was calling it A Red in the Courts of Black and White, and it was going to be weird. Kind of weird fantasy in the kind of the way that Final Fantasy is, where there's all sorts of stuff mixed in with your fantasy that maybe you wouldn't expect to be there, don't think belong there. But after about 3,400 words on that one, I realized I didn't know what I was doing. So in 2013, I tried to do my version of Robin Hood with a fantasy twist, and after about 10,000 words, that was it. It was done. It was harder than I thought. So that's kind of my history with NaNoWriMo, a little bit about what NaNoWriMo is. And, last year, there were over 400,000 people that actually tried to participate in this. I expect it'll be bigger this year. And in the next video, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to try and show you, tell you, talk with you about what my plan is for the 2014 National Novel Writing Month. Hopefully, we can get back to winning and answer the question, and then what happens? I'm Ron McCarrick. This is Arwen TV. Thanks for watching.